So, Holly, with that being the background, please take it away and tell us about Oliver Stranger. So,
Okay, so the premise of the film is that Andrew Scott is a film TV writer who lives alone in a London apartment block. He's the only person well, only one of two apartments that are filled. And on the first night of the film, there's a fire alarm, which clearly isn't the first time it happens. It's happened, and they would evacuate the building, and he goes back in, and then Paul Mescal shows up on his doorstep, rather drunk, semi-propositioning him, sort of inviting himself in for a drink, and Andrew Scott says, no, I'm not interested. You know, go away.
yeah,
Um, in tandem with this, Andrew Scott had lost his parents many years before at the same time in an accident. And he had grown up in suburban London. So this would have been in what would it be, 1980s.
yep,
I think how old I am, 'cause he's about the same age as I am. And he is reminiscing about his past and goes back to his old home where he discovers that somehow his parents are still alive at exactly the age they were when they died.
yeah.
They're aware that they're dead, and he starts to reconnect with them, going through the fact that he's gay, his parents having to deal with, you know, 1980s sensibilities, the things that concern them, how they feel about it. And at the same time, he starts a relationship with Paul Mescal's character,
Yep.
um, which is a little not, I wouldn't say complicated. It's not terribly complicated. It's a very loving relationship. And he is processing his childhood and the loss of his parents and trying to come to terms with life as a life as a whole. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
But there's that melancholy I was talking about.
Hugely, hugely melancholy. And in some ways, nothing happens.
It sounds like it.
It it's beautiful. It involves him going back and forth on the train out of, somewhere not quite central London. I did try to work out where it was, but then disengaged.
did,
Oh, possibly London Bridge or Southwark or
did
something.
it do that whole film geography thing where it's kind of like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was on a train that looked like it was going out of Victoria. But I'm not sure that I spotted how he'd got into Victoria from where he'd been. But
Yeah,
the wonders of, of cinematographic geography.
yeah,
So it really is him going back and forth and into this house of his childhood with his parents, who are so happy to see him, to be reunited with their son, who don't know how they died, but they know they've died, and they want to understand, they want him to be okay, they want him to be happy, they want to know how his life has gone. And it's, let's say, nothing happens, everything happens.
yeah.
It is heartbreakingly beautiful. I
It,
cried like a small child because it's me. Um, but also it genuinely warranted the crying as well, rather than just me being soppy as per
yeah.
usual. I'd say I think it's a really special film.
So, how many stars would you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Ooh,
I could go 5, frankly. The only reason I'm not going 5 is because it's having seen everything that's, a number of the Oscar films and things that it's up for. I'm not sure it's quite as good, but it's very close.
yeah.
And
Because
given and given last week, was it last week I was talking about the holdovers, and
yes,
another film where things do and don't happen.
yeah,
Um, so it's a very nearly a five, and I could have my arm twisted into a five if
I thought everything I heard about this film, and when you said you watched this film, I thought that this would be a nailed on five for you without even watching the film. But
it's really close.
that is me. That is me sort of like, activating a few of the stereotypes that I have. Because like
But you're right, because it was, I could absolutely, the only reason I'm not going five is because I am, I'm falling under the sway of the Oscar
the Oscar
committee.
the Oscar committee. Okay, so when you said this, have you seen a film called Petit Maman?
No.
Okay, cool. So this sounds like a combination of Ghosts and Petit Maman.
Hmm.
Yeah, because Petit Maman is all up. It's a French film that was released, I think, last year or the year before, and it's about a girl who goes for like this summer holiday, goes off into the woods, and then runs into another girl who seems to be lost, and then she takes the girl back to her home, and then realizes that the girl she's bumped into is actually her mum, and she meets her mum at the same age that she is. So yeah, and obviously Ghost, the whole thing of like them going to a house and everything like that. I was like, okay, cool, but yeah, oh cool. So all of us strangers, and so just quick question about the performances about Andrew Scott and Paul Mescal, because Paul Mescal is nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Superb.
All right, cool.
Absolutely superb.
All right.
Both of them are breathtaking. It's Paul Mescal in particular has just his performance is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
And the more I say, I'm switching it. I'm giving it a five. And it was just so beautiful.
Oh, decide. You see, now, Holly, this is bad because all you've just done is just confirm and strengthen the stereotypes I have in my head. That's all you've just done. That's all you've done right now.
You can just predict me. This is what happens. 20-something years of friendship. You know how my brain works.
Okay,
Just
cool.
how soppy I am.
Oh yeah, because I might need to watch this because Paul Mescal, I've got to be honest with you, I still don't see what the big deal is. He just seems a bit sad in in everything. I think if Paul Mescal turned around and was like, right, that's it, I'm going to do a kickabout comedy, or I'm going to be in a Marvel movie, then I'll be interested. But
I would love to see him do that, to be fair, for curiosity's sake. But he absolutely landed the poignancy.
Yeah.
You're selling it to me. You're selling it to me. From the from the trailer, I didn't think that it was one that I would like, but
I'd been a bit sort of on the fence because our reason for seeing it was a little bit, I won't say odd. We were going to see Colour Purple, and then it got cancelled because the projector had gone down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you said booking a second film when when Odeon think you're in another film.
Yeah.
When not in the film, you cancelled it. You expletives.
Yeah.
So we went and had a drink and said, what should we go and see? And there was that and The Boys in the Boat on at the same time. And it was a bit of a, what should we go with?
sounds like you made the right choice.
It was, we were so pleased we did.
Oh, sure, I am so looking forward to your review of The Voice of the Boat later.
And because we're wonderfully middle class, we went and grabbed our bite to eat afterwards in the Ivy Cafe in Richmond, because that's what you do. And everywhere else is bloody closed. So
All right, cool. And now let us move on. Let us move on to Netflix